balls out, right? So we want to allow that, but we got to keep everybody safe. So what was happening there is that whole match between them, he kept getting his hook and getting his shoulder in. So he would pull him in like this and then commit his shoulder and get himself here. And that was working for him. Then, sorry, what's your name again? Tien was starting to keep him outside, so he had to keep fighting back like this. So he was fighting back this way, and he went to push from there. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you see how my shoulder is not if I push with my shoulder, it's not behind my arm. My hand is here, my shoulder's here. This is okay. This is not okay. And that's what was happening, was because Tien was just holding him out enough, he thought he could push, and it just was that much. It was literally that much but because there's enough pressure in there, it happens. The last one, the one that our video's on, is Richard gets his hand taken this way. JW comes up to get a bit of gap, and he dives in like that, and JW hits again and again, same this position. That one's way more obvious. It just happened so fast we couldn't stop it. And what'll happen in a tournament is if somebody is pulling and they go like this, the ref will say, look at your hand, right? But the point is that it's not always, you can't catch it every time, obviously. I was right there watching. I was obviously but there was it wasn't like he was I'll see a lot of you guys that are new and we'll see this all the time. That's what we don't want to see that, right? And now you can kind of get an idea of why that's bad after seeing an arm go. But that's why it wasn't even that bad. It was just this much. So,
is there a way that go back to the position where they were. Is there a way that he could break himself too?
If I turn this way, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So you see how?
See the shoulder drive. There's nothing in front of the shoulder.
This.
He needs his wrist behind it.
I don't mean like this. Just like holding like this.
No,
rarely. This?
No.
No.
It has to be rotational
what if
pressure
you shove
here.
him a little bit too much that way?
No.
I mean,
he's
there's always a small percentage, but
it's like
not really.
I feel when you walk, I don't feel
because
any pain. I don't
see
feel
the
any
shoulder
pressure.
is back. If he was in a go defensive hook, if he was here, yes. Then there's a chance, even if he's in a strong spot, because the shoulder's committed forward. If your shoulder is going backwards, it's much more likely you're going to tear a bicep than you're going to break an arm. Right? So that's the other one that we try to tell people. When your arm starts to get taken away from you, you don't lean away and try to create leverage that way, because that's how you tear a bicep. Right? But we didn't see that.
He also started to lose his hand just a little bit, and he started to fight through it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect. And that's an instinctual thing. What Mike just said, right? Like you're fighting this way, and you start to lose a bit of hand, and so as soon as this starts to go, you instinctually try to push through it, right? So just be careful on those positions, right?
Like hand brakes.
Hand brakes? Doesn't usually happen. Maybe in a shitty slip, and the guy grabs my finger and breaks the finger. That might happen. Or this one, exploding hand like that. Like if somebody gets like that, you can tear and break a thumb or something. But you don't. Usually the injuries in arm wrestling are either little tweaks that we all deal with all the time, or a bicep tear, a humerus fracture. What's the ligament here? Alex? What's this ligament when that goes?
Ulnar ligament. Ulnar.
Yeah.
MCUL or something? UCL. Okay, the UCL tear, or a shoulder, or a pec tear.
Where's the UCL?
It's that ligament, that you feel in here that's always getting sore, when you go to the side. That's side pressure tear. That'll happen more. Remember the one at Tweed? The one we had from when filming Tweed? And the guy's fighting here like this. And he doesn't drive his shoulder, he just tries to drive his elbow, and his elbow just gets out. So if we get injured in this sport, it's usually a bad injury, but it's only from here down. We don't get brain damage, we don't blow our backs out or anything like that. But
I've popped the rib.
You popped the rib doing this?
You psycho. Previous injury and it just popped back.
That's the worry.
Yeah, I guess, obviously you can have other little things happen, but you get my point. Is that the injuries are usually, there's not a lot of them, but they are traumatic and they're only anyway, that's the arm race, that's what happened. And as of next practice, we're going to make sure everybody's
Did you leave any of the stuff here?
I think we got everything. And he's in the group chat. He'll get taken care of. Look, it's not a bit like Dave
Don't get
Chafee,
discouraged.
who else is guys that have Dave Chafee broke his arm real early in his career. Kevin never broke his arm. Torn bicep. Yeah. Broken arms, though, there are a number. Dustin, like one of our big training partners that was here.
2 weeks apart.
And his was just basically like what happened to him. His was he was winning here, and then he just went to push it out. And then his left arm went in the tournament, and then like 3 weeks later he broke his right arm.
Now he's national champ.
Yeah, now he's national champ, left hand.
Take next week off.